Hello, my stitchy friends! It has been a while. I don't know, in saying a while, I mean a while. It has been months, I think, since I last came around here. And I am now back with my whip parade. Again, I did not manage to do it in December. I did not manage to do it in January. I'm quite busy, unfortunately. But so this will be a February whip parade, which might be as good a day as any. It is Saturday, it is let me check, the 8th of February today. When you might see this, it's probably gonna be a day or two later, because editing this is gonna be another few hours of work that I do not have tonight. But yeah, since this is a whip parade and a lot of people tend to find new Flosstubers through whip parades, also sorry if I'm not looking directly at you, I'm filming on my phone and I tend to forget that I should not look at the screen to see what I'm doing, but like look at the camera, which is somewhere over there. I'm learning. So, my name is Sen. I am an artist and designer full-time. I also love cross-stitch and crafting in general. So I have also started my own cross-stitch business a few years ago, so you will see some of my own patterns, but I also love to stitch all kinds of patterns from all kinds of designers, mainly full coverage. So at least half of this whip parade is probably gonna be full coverage, we will see. I will put links to my art and my cross-stitch shops below in the description if you're interested to give it a look. I would love to. And yeah, other than that, again, I am Sen. I am 40 years old. I will be 41 in a few days. And I live together with my best friend, our two cats, our two little noodles, and a bunch of fish. So, yeah, that's about me. I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. I have 3 nephews now, which is plenty of kids for my taste that I get to see when I want to. Yeah, if you want to know anything specific, feel free to drop me a question in the comments. And other than that, without further ado, let's start the whip parade. This time I will do it like I've seen a few other Flosstubers do it. I will put my whips on my desk in front of me and do sort of like a top-down film situation, which is a lot easier for me as well to show you the whole project without like holding it in front of me and checking the lighting and everything. Well, at least we will see how this works. I used to film Flosstube with my MacBook. This is the first time I'm filming with my iPhone, so I do not know if the quality is going to be better or worse or whatever. We will see and adjust in the future. So just so you know, this is the first time I'm filming exactly like this, so please bear with. I'm not a filming expert by any chance. Same with editing, but I'm gonna do my best to make it as funny and entertaining and pleasant as possible. If you have questions about any of my whips, also feel free to post them down below. I have, starting this year, started to do a lot more tracking, like putting what I can into a Google Sheet that I got from Etsy, which is incredible. I'll probably show that in one of my regular Flosstubes in the future. So I am doing my best to, at least for any projects that I'm starting in the future, to do better tracking. I also work on a lot of magazine patterns, which are hard to track, percentage and stitches if I did not manage to put them in markup. I have an iPad, so I track and stitch with Markup RXP. I do not use Pattern Keeper. So if I have any patterns and you want to know if they work with Pattern Keeper, I do not know, unfortunately. Any patterns that I chart myself that are not super old, they work with Pattern Keeper. Feel free to ask me about specific patterns if they're too old to be optimized or not. But yeah, before I keep rambling for another 5 minutes, let's move on to the whip parade, starting with my full coverages. And these will be in no particular order because, again, there may be in the future, but for now, I will show them as I grab them. Please get a drink. This will be a long one. Grab some stitching or whatever you prefer to do watching whip parades, and let's go. All right, let's try this. And this is the first time for me trying to film it like this too, so we will see how it goes. We will start with my full coverage projects, and these are in no particular order. I will try and give you stats where I have them. And yeah, we'll see. First off is this one. It is called Blue Garden 1 by Maxis Patterns. And I am, I believe, about 4% done with this. This is one of my older full coverage projects. Let's see. There's a lot of hanging threads. So yeah, I think I was really only up here, as you can see. I started in this corner and then at one point switched up to Royal Rose. I'm stitching this 2/1 on, I believe this is probably either 16 or 18 count Ida. Yep, going down to this. So this is where it's at. I have not touched this in a while, I believe. And I have tried to open all the zippers. I hope I did not forget any. Again, this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. I have cut off the upper part here where the line is and the bottom part where this line is, because the fabric that I started this on was too small. Again, this is very old. I think I started it sometime in 2022, shortly after I got back to cross stitch. So not one of my best starts. So let's see. Up next we have Dragon in a Winter Forest. This is charted by Artisay. Let's see. This is where it is at. Also doing the Royal Rose method, that going across. Let's see if I can get it a bit closer to the camera. This is very small and dainty. This is a 28 count, which ended up being one of my favorite quite a while ago. This is stitched 2/1/10. And this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. I am, let me see, I am 5% done. So started in, I believe, March 2023. So, and most of my projects will look like this, like tiny sad starts, because I am one person that loves to start a lot of things and never seems to be able to finish it, at least not the larger ones. This is Mini Gardener's Paradise, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Donna Gelsinger. I got this for my birthday, I believe, last year. Let's see, where do I have it? Here. Yeah, I started it in February last year for my birthday start. I am 5% done with it. And oh, this is the back. You do not want to see the back. Backs are messy. This is where it's at. Lots of hanging threads. This is a theme that we will have, because I park and all my projects will have lots of hanging threads. So you can see I first went sort of cross country, as you can see here, but then I switched it up to the Royal Rose. It is a bit bulky. You can see this here, but with this one I don't particularly mind. I might change my mind eventually, because 10 stitch with projects that have so many colors like this one, I switched that up to doing 1/1 full cross this year, which you will see with my later full coverage thoughts. But so far I'm fine with how this looks, even if it's a tapestry sort of with the bulk that it has with the stitches. But yeah, this is where it's at. I do need to get back to this because I love it. It's beautiful. But for now, this is where it's sitting at. Let's put it back in its back. And I also hope that this top-down filming is gonna make it a little easier for me to take progress shots. I'm just cutting it out of the video later so I can insert them in next year's whip parade. Unlike I'm doing now, because I just honestly cannot be bothered. Let's see, what do we have here? This is a big one. Oh yeah, this is also one of my older starts. Let's see where I have him. This is name I cannot pronounce by artwork by Tiro Cabral, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a beautiful dragon picture. I started this way back when I played in my first Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and yeah, I still love it, but I haven't worked on it in quite a while. It is also on a 28 count. Let's see where my start is hiding. The way up here. I started not in the corner, I started in the mountain over here. Let's pull this up and you can see. Over here, which is not quite the middle, because I think I did not want to stitch just sky. So we have this mountain over here going down. There's like the wingtip of the dragon is about here, I think. So I did want to reach the dragon. Here's like part of his wing. And then I moved all the way over in this little line here to the corner over here where I usually do the corner starts, and then worked down from there. So yeah, another one I definitely need to get back to. It is at 4%. Yeah, you see the pattern, right? Most of my my whips are under 10% when it comes to the full coverage projects. So let's put him back. And you also might notice that none of these are kitted. I originally kitted all of my... Oops, sorry. I might shake the camera from time to time because it is standing right here between myself and the desk. So I originally kitted up all of my projects and then switched to stitching from a master set. I am currently switching back to kitting up projects because I am a little bit worried about dye lots and such, especially since I use mainly or almost exclusively CXC, not DMC, because of, you know, how expensive DMC are, especially here in Germany, and I could not afford to kit up all of my projects with DMC. So next up is this beautiful pattern. It is called The Manor and it is by Max's Patterns on Etsy. I am 1% done with this. I think I worked on it twice since I started. Also a pattern I started in 2022, so this is also fairly old. And this is my sad little start on it. Just the bottom corner. A bit of green. Also stitched 2/1/10 on 28 count. I bought all of this fabric from China as Aida. I'm not sure if it is Aida. A lot of people have told me that there is no such thing as 28 count Aida, so it's probably just an even weave, but I don't really care. It's fabric I enjoy a lot, so I'm using it. So again, 1%. Yeah, this is one of my oldest ones and also one of my full coverages that I am farthest with. So let me see, it's 23. This one is at 25%. I don't think I have worked much on it last year. I started this one in summer 2022. It's also a Dungeons and Dragons pattern. I still have these in here, but I never use them. I switched to a digital, and this needs a wash. You see how dirty this one is. I stitch in hand, so that's probably why. Let's see if I can even get this into full view, not just the back. Here we are. This is what it looks like. Let's see if I can get the camera a little further away for this one. Because he's sitting on my desk. This is where it's at. Finished most of his hair over here and moved down a little bit into their faces. At one point I had hoped that this would already be finished, but I might want to go back to trying doing 25% per year on this, so that's at least gonna be finished in a few years. But yeah, I would definitely want to make this a focus again. But yeah, also stitched 2/110 on 28 count Ida even weave. I don't know. This is my start corner, and this is the other corner, so I made it all the way across. And it is about rectangular, quadratic, so it's gonna be the same going down. But I'm gonna show you the picture in a moment of what it's gonna look like finished. But this will definitely go back. And I had to frog a lot of it, as you can probably see here. I miscounted somewhere along the lines of going down, and all of this here was stitched. All of this here was stitched, and I had to frog it. So that's probably why it went into timeout for a bit. I even get to see my messy back a little. And this is what it's gonna look like when it's finished. I I charted this myself. This is artwork that I drew, so this is by me, my artwork, my chart. This is personal, you cannot get it anywhere, and I'm not planning on making it available. So yeah, one of my oldest personal projects. Oh yeah, there's the needle. Did you see that? It went straight through here and almost went into my hand. I know you should not like put needles in there at all, but no. I might even cut that out. You don't need to see that. That was scary. So next up is another pattern that I charted myself. I do not have a picture of it in here. That's not good. So I am gonna go and pause and print one out. Oh no, I don't. I have everything in front of my printer. This is bad. Let me see. I will find one and then I can insert it here. So it is, there it is. This is the pattern. It is a stained glass image of a dragon, as you can see, and I do love me my dragons. Back to the pattern. This is where it is at currently. Finished like this round over here and a little bit of the stained glass image in here. And this is at 6%. Oops. Sorry for my shakiness. I wanted to film this like fully top down, but with the way my tripod and camera setup work, that's not possible. So we'll have to make do. But yeah, this is where it's at. Stained glass dragon window. 6%. Started in, I believe, yeah, August 2023. Again, these are in no particular order. They just exist however I please and wherever I put them. Maybe I will order them for next year. I'm starting to get a lot more order into all of my whips, so you never know, we will see. The next one is Welcome to Erebor by Country Magic Stitch on Etsy. I am a huge fan of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and everything fantasy, as you might have noticed and will notice in the future if you stick around. I started this in March 2024. Started in the upper right corner, and I believe, or maybe I started in the left one and moved over and then just moved down. I do not know, but this is where it's at. And that is 6% done. Maybe I will get some of my projects at least into the 2-digit percentage this year. That's definitely a plan, because when I look at my list, where I have all the stitch counts and percentages, it looks really sad, because all of these are just under 10%. Next one is Northern Lights. This one is artwork and charted by me. You can get this one in my Etsy shop. The link will be in the description below, if that's something that you are interested in getting. And with this one, I am also just a tiny 1%. I think I worked on this for 2 days. And this is where it's at. Just a tippy top corner, a little bit of night sky. Also stitched 2/1/10 on 28 count. The Erebor was, I think, also stitched on 28 count, 2/1/10, which is like what I mainly do these days. Well, not anymore. I kind of also started full cross 1/1 on 28 count, depending on the pattern. If there's too much confetti. Next up, this one is not open, but it's not a zipper, so please bear with. And I also definitely need a lot more project bags, like other project bags, not whatever this is. So next up is, and the picture is this tiny, but I hope you can still see it. This is Mini Fall Dragon, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Walking Melons. And this one also 2/1/10 on 28 count. Let me open this. Lots of hanging threads. Some of you that hate hanging threads will probably go crazy at the sight of this. So this is where it's at. I believe this is actually the end corner here. Like, this is how far it goes across, so it's not overly large. And then I went down up until here to just kind of do the border. And this is my, oops, sorry for the shakiness. This is my fall project, and it is beautiful. Look at the colors. I worked a lot on this last fall. It is at 12%, so at least this is a bit over the 2 digits. Started in August 2023, and this got quite a lot of love last year in fall. I did not stitch overly much last year at all. I'm definitely getting definitely got my stitchy bug back this year. Last year was not a good year for me stitchy wise, which is also why I kind of fell off doing Flosstubes. But I hope I will get back into it. So, and maybe I need to speed up a little. We're already at 20 minutes. So, next up we have this beauty here, which is Fantasy Home by Artisy. This is where it's currently at, stitch 2/1/10 on, it's probably a 20 count. I'm not sure. I get a lot of fabrics from other like stash unload or rest. Is it rest? Like leftover pieces. So they are not numbered and they are not named. I do not know what they are. But yeah, this is where this one's at. And this is what it will look like finished. Fantasy Home by Artisy. I believe it was a free pattern on their Facebook group at one point. But don't quote me on that. I only have one. Oh, it should have been. I think I only have one actually paid Artisy pattern, which will come up. And I have a lot of their free patterns from their Facebook group or website. Though they do rotate. So it might no longer be a freebie. This is at 8%. Started in July 2023. Next is another Artisy pattern. You can already probably see through my wonderful back here. This is Tree Silhouette at Dusk. Also on my favorite 28 count. This is the back. There we are. And this is where we're at with this one. It's also not a large full coverage. As you can see, this is like the size of it all the way across. Sitting at 11%. 201 tent, 28 count. So started in November 2022. So next up is another Maxis Patterns one. This might seem familiar, but this is a little different than the other one you saw earlier. This is Blue Garden number 2. This was started way later. Oh, I've printed out twice. I don't know why. And this one I did a better job with starting because I knew a lot more about fabrics and counts and had more practice with the stitching either. I think it's this way. Did not do much on it yet. As you can see, this is where it's at. Just a little bit up top here. It's a bit hard to see since it's kind of white on white going down here into the hydrangeas. I think it's hydrangeas up here, just this top corner. And this one is at 2%. And both of these, when I eventually finish it, will be in our kitchen because our kitchen is very white and teal and light blue. So will I ever finish it until we move and our kitchen probably looks different than it does now? No, most likely not, but it's the thought that counts. Next is another Artisy pattern. This is the one I just talked about, the one I bought from their website. It's Irises and Dragonflies. And this one I love the looks of. It's beautiful. I do not have much done on it, unfortunately. And this is on a linen. I think this is the only full coverage I stitched on a linen. And I do kind of regret that I started it on this, but I didn't know any better. So it's really difficult to stitch for me because I don't know why, but it's a lot more difficult for me to stitch than it would have been if I had started it on an Ida or even weave. But yeah, this is probably why I don't pick it up much. This is where it's at. It is, let me find it, at 3%. Started in September 2022. So, Irises and Dragonflies. Also, this is a light green fabric. You can probably see. Another one that I desperately need to get back to. Again, I think this year's goal will be getting as many of my projects into the 2 digits as I can. like at least to 10%. We will see. Hold me to it in my end of the year whip parade this year if I actually manage. So next up is another oldie. Oh boy, the shaking will happen. I am so sorry about that. I will try and get a better setup eventually. This is Bamboo. It is a pattern that I charted myself like ages ago. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it's even on my list. There it is. Also in summer 2022. So this is also at 3%. It is not one of my favorites to work on because again, most of my old full coverages are stitched on fabric that's not ideal. I do not know if I will continue this. I might discontinue it. Because as you can see, the fabric is getting bulked up a lot and I'm not that far with it. I think, yeah, it's not even 2000 stitches and the stitches do not look that good. You can see. I'm not very happy with how the 2/1 full cross looks on this. So I might just put this in the abandonment pile or start it over eventually, because yeah, this does not look. I liked it when I did it 2 years ago, but yeah, I think this is gonna go into the UFO pile. And I don't know what count this is. What I would, oh yeah, back. What I would even stitch on this count. Should I like 1/1 or 10? Because this is probably a 20 or an 18. And this is way too bulky. Maybe it will look better for patterns that are not full coverage. But it's not one of my favorite counts, for sure. So yeah, this will go into the to be discontinued. Come on, close. Let's put it to the side here. And then I will decide what to do with it later. Next is, I'm going to put them on hold in my app. So, next one is Gravity by Chameleon Designs XS on Etsy, I believe. I got this one from, and this is massive. I think this is one of my largest, if not the largest. It has a total of 309,101 stitches. And I do not think I have another pattern that is this big. No, I don't. This is my largest. And it is at 2%. Started this in 2022. I did work on it last year. And this is where it is at. Again, it is beautiful. If this ever gets finished, this will be definitely a beautiful centerpiece. Also stitched 2/1/10 on 28 count. It is getting bulky, but with these I do not mind. They will eventually get washed and ironed, and then they will be nice and tidy, I'm sure. But for now, this doesn't bother me. Need to get back to it. Beautiful pattern. I really love this one. Again, get all the full coverages to at least 10%. I'm gonna make this my goal for this year. We'll see how well that goes. Next one is another Heaven and Earth designs that you've probably seen a lot. This is Disintegration. It was a freebie on their side. I don't know if it still is. So I'm not far with it. as you probably have guessed. I am at 1%. I started this in December 2022. And you will see my sad little start in a moment here. There it is. This is my sad little start. Just the top corner and a little bit across. That's all. Again, 10%, right? We will see. We will see. I think I'm gonna start a tally so that I can check how many projects I actually do get to 10% this year. Or well, my app will just show me, but then I should like write down how many are not at 10% now, so I will know that I got them there. This is the next one. This is also a chart that I charted myself before I properly charted patterns. So this is made with a free pattern app. This is from a video game. This is from Final Fantasy XIV. And it has like a very, very special place in my heart. Anybody who played Final Fantasy XIV probably knows why. And yeah, this has a ton of blends, a ton of colors. It was one of my first whips, like one of my first projects overall. I restarted it because the fabric I originally did it on was not good for cross stitch. I did not know that. That was way back in the beginning of 2022. Well, then I restarted it also in 2022. So this is already a few years old as well, but this is where this one is at. This is the restart. This is the top of the pattern. And this is not sky, this is water. So this is the top of the ocean, like with the light coming through here. And the first shadows of the buildings here in this corner. And I did move all the way down to see how large this will be. So we have a little bit of the bottom corner down here. And I hope that I did not miscount anywhere. So this is the width it's gonna be down, like the height of it. And I did not go all the way across yet. So it's a lot wider than it's high. If that makes sense. I think it does. Stitched 2/1/10 on 28 count. Again, ton of blends, ton of colors. But I do enjoy this. Another thing that I desperately need to get back to. This one is at 7%. Sorry. And yeah, I have some of my blends in here, as you can see. There. They are on these floss cards here. But this is Amarot from Final Fantasy XIV. Charted by me. If anybody wants this, I am willing to share. So, next up is the Garlic Dragon, charted by Paint Free Crafts. Artwork by Stanley Morrison. I cannot pass up on a good dragon pattern, and I'm looking at so many dragon patterns that I want to stitch. It's ridiculous. So we are at 3%. I started this in September 2023. This is where it's at. All the way across. So this is the width of it. I believe this is a 28 or 26 count easy grid. I do not know. I got gifted this fabric by my friend Dobby from Covered in Floss, like a massive chunk of this fabric. But neither of us know what exactly it is. So it exists and it's wonderful. I love it a lot. This is probably my absolute sweet spot for 10 stitch, and eventually I might get more of it if I figure out where it's from. So, but yeah, this is where Garlic Dragon is at, with 3%. Okay, one more to get to 10. So, next up, I think now we're getting to slowly getting into the newer ones. Next one is, let me just turn it around so I don't have to pull the paper out. And this is Waldbach, another freebie by Artisy. And you might have noticed that I do also love patterns like this, like landscapes and such a lot. And you will see quite a few more of those. Oh, I have it here. So I think it's 25 count, easy count, or easy grid, whatever you call this. This is also a restart because the fabric I started it on first, I did not like the way it was getting super bulky. This is also bulky with a 2/110 because of the amount of colors this one has. There's a lot of confetti, but it's doable. This one is it is at 5%. So that's what it looks like. It does not look like much because I did a lot of cross country with it in the beginning, all the way to the bottom, I believe, even. So this is the full thing. I'm not gonna continue doing cross country though, but it's a lot easier to do on these easy count than it is on non-gridded fabric, which is probably not news to you, let's be honest. So that is that one. Next up we have, this is a magazine pattern. As you can see, let me try to get it into frame without hitting the camera too much. This is another landscape pattern. It is from a cross-stitch magazine that I buy here in Germany. Although I think somebody told me once it's a Czech magazine. Although it is German, but it's originally from Czech, I believe. Yeah, and this is where I am at with this one. Just a teeny tiny start in the top corner. A little bit of sky. And I had to count these stitches because this is a paper pattern I'm working off, so it is probably not accurate, but I think it's about 2%. So I'm gonna put you on pause real quick. Oh yeah, that is this pattern. So on to the next, and this is another Artisy. I mean, they have beautiful free patterns. How am I supposed to resist? And this is Mossy Landscape, another pretty landscape pattern. So I just said the word and then I forgot it. Wonderful. This is where it is at. This already looks a little bit like the pattern, as you can see up here in the top. And this is beautiful. I don't think it has too many colors, so it has a bit of confetti, but not overly many colors. So it's bulky, but doable. And I am at, let me see, at 6% with this. Started this in November 2023. So I have a lot of flips. Probably too many for most people's taste. I know it's a lot and that I should probably stop starting stuff and focus on working on stuff and finishing it. But I love starting. So next up is this beautiful forest pattern. It's by Banana Patterns on Etsy. I think it is called Forest Lake, and I started this in January 2023, and I am 7% done. This is one of the patterns that has little enough confetti and colors that it works perfectly well 2/1 full cross on this count. That, again, not exactly sure what count it is. I think it's either a 20, it's probably a 20. But yeah, this is where this is at. All the way across from one corner to the other. There's a lot of 310 in this. So you can probably imagine by looking at the picture. All the trees up here are 310. And that is where I'm currently at. 7%. Definitely a contender to get to 10% this year. This is Banana Patterns, Forest Lake. Next up, and this is the last in this pile, but not the last one I have, is Seascape, although I call this sailboat because it's a sailboat. I do not know where it is from. This is like, there's only this shop logo on this pattern, and I've had this for a long time. I started this early in 2022, so I do not know the name of the shop. There is like just the shop logo, but not the shop name on the pattern. So I know I got it from Etsy, but I can't tell you exactly where. And this is where I'm at. It's also on, oh yeah, this is another full coverage that I started on linen. As you can see, I was not very knowledgeable about what fit well with what. But I still work on this. It's still very much doable for me. It's 2/110 on this, probably also 28 count linen. I am at 9%. So we're getting close to the 10 with this. And now I'm gonna see if I have any more full coverages hiding. I know I have some more, so that we're not in this pile. So I will go and find them, the newer ones, and then we will continue with this part of the parade. All right, let's continue. I have a lot more full coverages left, most of which are smaller. Let's start with this one. This is a tiny full coverage. You might recognize this character from earlier. I made this one myself. I am about almost done with this one. It is 75% done. So I really need to get to it. Let me see where he is hiding. Here. This is where it's at. Just missing this half. And you can see it is tight. It is tiny. 2/110, 28 count, just about the size of my hand. A total of 10,000 stitches, which does not sound much for a full coverage. It's not, but it still takes quite a bit. I need to get this finished. So I think that is this one. Next, what do we have here? This is technically not a full coverage, so I don't know why I put this in this pile. It is almost a full coverage, but there's like a little bit of white here that's not stitched. Although I do not know if I'm gonna stitch it or not, at least in tent, because I will see. I will leave it up to last. This one is by Maria Diaz. It's from Cross Stitcher magazine in July 2022. I do not know my percentage of this because this is a paper pattern. I do not have it in my app or anywhere in markup. So this is where it's at. Not too far, not too bad either. I will have to see how the full crosses of this pattern work with this. They look fine up here in the top. They are a bit bulky, as you can see. Like the fabric is bunching up a bit, but once it's getting stretched into a frame, it's gonna be fine. But this is where this one's at. Fields of Gold by Maria Diaz. So, does not belong in the full coverage pile. I'm gonna put it somewhere else. This one does, however. Okay. But I will need to take a break here because my phone battery is dying. This is... Well, you can see the German title here. Zaubernde Seerosen. This is a pond. And it is a smaller full coverage pattern. That I also do not know the full count yet. I have not calculated it. And it is a paper pattern from the Cross Stitch magazine that I get here locally. And this is... I can probably calculate the full, like the full amount of stitches because this is full coverage. But I do not count the stitches on this. I might, but I haven't yet. This is where it's at. Top corner. The water looks great. Getting into the first of the flowers here. And this is all the way across. So this is the full width of the pattern. And now I'm going to take a break and charge my phone and have some food. And then we will continue. And we're already at 47 minutes. And there will be more. So this will be a long one. I have a lot of whips. See you in a bit. Alright, we're back. My phone has some more battery, so I believe we can continue. And we will with one of the smaller, or most of the smaller full coverages. This one is another magazine pattern. It is called Riverside Retreat, and it is, well, I think it's also from a Cross Stitch magazine. I have not printed out where exactly it's from. So, oh yeah, there is Cross Stitch, a gold scenery collection. That is where it was in. And this is the tiny start I have on it. Let's see. Lights. This is the tiny start I have on it. Not too much. But it is 2/110 on whatever count this is. 18 or 20, I'm not too sure. Very enjoyable to work on. So definitely another one we need getting back to. And next, another magazine patterns. There was like a point in around 2023 or 4 where I started a lot of these. 2023. A lot of which were, I believe, Mania starts. This one is Riverside Retreat. Maybe I should pull it down a little further so you can actually see it. Beautiful beach house. And this is where I am at with this one. Also not far, got a bit of love. I think this is actually like a regular 14 count that this is stitched on. Sometimes I do those. Might also be 16 though, but no, I think this is just 14 count. 14 count white Ada. What is this one? Next up is a tiny full coverage. This is the size of it. You see, it goes from here to here, or here even. The tiniest. I do not have a print out of it, so I believe it is called, let's see, Autumn Landscape, or I might put this in markup so I can see how far I am with this one actually. So now this is one that I have fully kitted up again. Well, almost fully. There's one color missing, so this is a very bulky bag. This is Luncheon, artwork by Margaret Morales, charted by Heaven on Earth Designs. And I just got back to this one. I'm kind of making it a little bit of a focus for this month and stitching it along with my friend Dobby's Morales Across Miles Cell, I believe it is on Instagram, where she and some other friends picked up a Margaret Morales pattern to start or to work on in the month of February, which is coincidentally also my birthday month. My birthday is coming up next week. Or might already have been, depending on how long it takes me to film and edit this. So it was a fitting choice to make. Just out here with all of the floss. This might need a bigger bag. I am an amazing 3% done with this. So maybe if I manage to focus on it enough in February, and I will get it to 5 or 6%, maybe even 10. You know what I said? I want to get all my full coverages, or as many as I can, to 10%. This is where it is at. It got a lot of love already this year. I think I did, let me see, 2,000 stitches-ish around in this month or last month. Let me see. Yeah, about 2,000 stitches already in February and another 640 in January on this. So it already got a bit of love. Not enough to get it anywhere near 10%, but we will see. This one I started in the bottom corner and moving up slowly, mainly doing a sort of reverse royal rose from down up instead of the other way around that you usually do it. It is also stitched 2 over 1 tent on 28 count. And this is my focus for February. One of two. I have another one that I'm working on, but that will mainly be a Friday stitch from now on that I have put a lot of work starting into it. Yeah, this bag is definitely too small. That's a big bag. We will figure something out for this one. Next up is one of my new starts. I need to pause and print. This one is Coffee Dragon. It is another pattern that I charted for myself. So it's not available anywhere. If you want this and want to stitch it with me, drop me a note. I'm willing to share. This has a little like it has the Instagram things down here because I forgot to cut them out, but you can just like leave the final 2 or 3. I'm gonna leave the final 2 or 3 rows where these are on. So quick note on that, this is an AI made image that I found on Instagram. That account has a lot of beautiful dragon pictures. I love dragons. And I don't know how much you are aware about the whole AI discourse kind of situation. Just a quick fact, any AI made image is copyright free because it is not humanly made, and only artworks made by humans can be copyrighted. So if you see any AI images online, you are free to take them and do with them as you please. I could even sell this if I wanted to. So this chart, if you want to stitch it, drop me a message. I am willing to share with you. Otherwise, I am currently just doing this for myself because I think it is so cute. And I have restarted this one 3 times. At first I started stitching it 2 over 1 tent, as I usually do on my 28 count. I did not like the look of the bulk with the confetti this one has. It does not have overly many colors. I think it's probably, oh well, it has a lot of colors. Never mind. Probably around 70 or 80. anyway, it was getting too bulky for my taste, so I did not like the look of it. And somebody told me to try 1/1 tent, and I did not like the coverage. There was too much white showing through, and I just could not. So I switched it up and did something that I don't usually do, which is 1/1 full cross. And this, on this type of fabric that I have a few more pieces on, is perfect. So I really like the look of this. I like how full crosses look. I like the feel of stitching with one strand. I've done it a few times before, but never for like full coverage this size. So with this one, 3rd time's the charm. So I'm gonna do this 1/1 full cross on 28 count. It will take a lot longer than 10 stitch does, but I've started doing this method for one more piece, and I will probably do it again in the future for confetti heavy full crosses on this count, because it just looks the best in my opinion. But yeah, this is where I am with Coffee Dragon. Just a tippy top corner. It is, do I have the count yet? Because I restarted it so many times. Yeah, it is technically still at 0% or 0 point something something. My tracker does not pick up point anything, so it still says 0. It has 519 stitches out of 122,150. So very sad little start. Considering it's the 3rd time I started it, if I had started it like this from the beginning, it would probably be at least at 2%. But we live and learn. Next up, this is my newest start. I started this one, again, my whips are in no particular order. I started this on February 5th. So today is February the 8th. Only a few days ago, and I am already 1,300 stitches in at 2%. And another one that I have not printed out, so I'm gonna do this real quick. So this is what it looks like. It is a mid-sized, I'd say, full coverage, about 57,000 stitches, and only 36 colors. I am thinking about making this available in my shop. This is artwork I made, and obviously charted myself as well. So I think it's really beautiful, but before I make it available in my shop, I want to stitch it like at least partially first to see how the colors look, because especially with like skin tone, there are not that many colors, and I want to see at least how it looks like before I put it up. I will not completely finish it before I make it available. That is impossible. Especially not, well, at least not with the speed I'm working on. Again, this is at 2%. I worked on it a lot over the past days since I started it. Just need to find my start, and again, lots of hanging threads. And since these are just like, this is 1/1 full cross on this 28 count fabric, and this is where I'm at. Just the top corner. All of this is background, and you can see like the hand coming in here, just the over here. That's where I put it here. That's where it starts. Here it over here. So I want to see, I mean, the printout obviously always looks different than the actual stitch, and I did not print this in good quality either. So I will probably put a few more stitches in there, at least until I get a bit into the first hand, see how it looks like, and then I will decide if I make this pattern available in my shop or not. But for now, this is where this is at. It will be my Friday stitch for now, because this is another Dungeons and Dragons inspired pattern from the campaign that I'm currently playing in on every Friday. So again, I will probably stitch this on Fridays. And now I need to get this. These are A4s. bags, so getting A4 papers in them. Menace. Next up, I need to grab a drink. This is another me pattern. This is available in my shop if you want to stitch it with me. It's called Mystical Swamp. It is charted from a gouache painting I made in my art shop. Like when you look for St. Cross art on Etsy, you can also get prints or stickers on magnets and everything of this one. If you want something other than cross stitch pattern. Again, not the same shop as my cross stitch Etsy, but I think I will just put both of them into the description below. This is, I need to open this. Oops. This is where this one is at. Again, lots of hanging threads. Parked, went down a little bit over here towards the bottom to get the size. This is probably gonna be about here. I think this is the bottom. But mainly still working in the top. This is where it's at. Again, pattern with a lot of 310. This also does not have too many colors. This is fully kitted up. Like all of the colors are in here. So this is the colors. As you can see, it's not many. It's just one of these things, and all these beautiful, beautiful greens and teals. And this is one of my favorite projects to work on currently, which is why it got so much love. And this one is actually at 10% out of a total of 87,000 stitches. This is where it's at. It's got a lot of love last year. And this year too, I believe. Last year I don't know, but yeah, definitely got around a little over 2,000 stitches in this year already. Now let me fold it back up. Always folding it differently. Pattern does not like that. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna put it like this. So I might cut out a lot of this packing stuff back into their bags, because this is already way too long. So next up is another relatively new start from the end of last year. Let's see. This one is, yeah, from October 2024. This one is, this is what it currently looks like, sitting at 1% in total out of 123,000 stitches, stitched 2 over 1/10 on 28 count. This this project in particular works that way on this fabric. It has a few colors, but it does not have too much confetti. At least it does not yet in this part, and I hope it stays that way. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. Call this like green gem dragon. Same with the coffee dragon. It is a pattern that I charted from an AI artwork I found on Instagram. So if you want to stitch this, drop me a note and I will gladly share it with you. So I need more dragons in my life. Next up is we're getting to an end with the full coverages, and then there's a ton of, I was just gonna swear, there is a ton of words are leaving me, a ton of smaller patterns too. This is another tiny full coverage pattern. It is called Scandinavian Spruce Forest Green Rectangle, apparently. And I got this on Etsy. I do not know the shop name. It's unfortunately not on there. This is where I'm at with it. I do not know what kind of fabric this is, although from what I know about fabrics, at this point I think it's probably a Linda, like the mix between Ida and linen. And it is pleasant to stitch on. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross, but it was a poor choice, as you can probably guess, because some of the greens are the same color as the fabric. So it's even worse than stitching white on white. Like over here you can see it. It's very hard to see that there are even stitches in there. It will look great once it's done, but I am not enjoying working on this a lot at the moment. So it will get love again, but not right now. Next up we have, let's see, another small full coverage. Can you see? It's upside down, of course. This is Visit Mars. It is another pattern from a magazine. It is by Lord Libiden. This is a small one. It only has a little under 5,000 stitches, and regardless, I am not very far with it. This is my start. I think I worked on it twice. Not very much, and yet this is 8%. So I'm pretty sure I can get this one to 10 easy enough, if not more, in like one session of stitching. And this is also an older one. This is Halloween Pumpkin Cottage by Studio and See-Through. This is in a project bag that I made myself, one of the few ones that I have. This little dangling raven here. It's just like some galaxy pattern on the outside and some Halloweeny spooky pattern on the inside with the... I also want to get back to making project bags for myself mainly. I have a lot of fabric left that I bought for sewing and I did not use it. So this one is sitting at 6%. It is stitched 2/2 full cross on this mystery linen. It's just plain white linen, I believe. I don't know what kind it is, but this is where this one's at, just the top corner. Also very cute. I want to get back to this in fall, see how far I can get with it. Maybe I can get at least some of my smaller full coverages finished. Next up is another relatively new start. I started this sometime in winter 2024. I do not have it in my tracker yet, so I don't know how far I am percentage-wise. And I do not have a picture printed out. Let me open this. A lot of stuff to cut out, I believe, when I edit this. So, oh my gosh, this is a mess. So this is where this one is at. As you can see, not much done. Started in the middle, in the top middle. No, I started in the middle, then here worked my way up to the top because this is a round situation. It is a full coverage, but it is round. So I had to find a good starting point with this. It wasn't as easy as just starting in the top corner. And yeah, I worked quite a bit on this in winter. Let me see if I can print out a picture for you so you can see what it looks like. So here's my quick printout of what this will look like finished. It is called Winter Woods. I used to sell this one in my shop before I decided to only chart and sell pictures that are made from my own art. So maybe somebody else charted it as well, but I couldn't tell you where to get this one. So yeah, this is Winter Woods. This is my winter, this was my winter focus last year. And I believe I only have one left. It is another mini full coverage. This is where this one's at. Stitched 2/1 10 stitch. You can actually like already make out shapes. The sky is almost done in the back. Then there's the tree. Here are a lot more greenery, and then there will be a house here. I mean, quickly, again, no printouts for these. But you can make out the vague idea of what it will look like from this pattern. This was like a whole bunch of tiny patterns I got off Etsy of some shop that is also not on here. So if I ever figure it out, I will tell you. But yeah, those were my full coverages. I do have 1 or 2 or 3 kids, like printed kits that are full coverage, but I will put them in an extra section. Now we will get to the smalls. And you will see a lot more sad little starts. And most of these that I do not have any statistics on when I started them or whatever. First off is this little guy. It is a tiny sleeping dragon. It is from SA Patterns on Etsy. And this is where I am at with the little guy. I will see if I can get this finished this year, because this one it was supposed to be like a picture with for my second nephew. I made one for my oldest nephew, and my brother and my sister-in-law got that for Christmas the day before last year. And I had planned on doing the second one for Christmas this year, but as you can see, it is still here. So I obviously did not finish that for Christmas. This one is a D&D pattern. This is going to be a D20 dice. I do not have a printout of it, but I do feel that I might discontinue this. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. I am a fan of these multicolored flosses, but I'm not necessarily sure if I like how it looks on this pattern. Also, there's going to be flowers here in the bottom that I have not planned on doing with multicolored floss. So this is I'll have to think about it. So this is going to be in the this will go on hold, and I will think about if I want to continue it or if I want to restart it, because I definitely like the pattern. It's by White Raven Patterns on Etsy. I have a few of her patterns that I really enjoy, but still need to finish. Speaking of, this is one of them as well. This is also going to be a D20 dice with a lot of floral elements that I do not have a picture of what it looks like finished. And I did change the colors of the flowers to match my like room aesthetic more. As you've seen, my room is all like purples and greens, so that's why I changed the colors. I'm stitching this with no-name floss that I got from somewhere. Might have been out of the stash that my mom gave me for Christmas. Just like cheap no-name flosses. This is the color palette. And this is definitely one I'm gonna continue, because I don't think I have worked on it last year. So definitely needs to get love. And I will say that about every single one of my patterns. Next up is this one. It's also from a magazine called Haunted Happenings. does not have on it who made it. I think it's on the other one. But this one, well, the ghost is kind of hidden on the fabric, but then again, it's a ghost, right? It's also barely visible on this one here that they used for the module. Stitching this 1/1 full cross on this 28 count that I hand dyed. It's tea dyed, I believe. You can barely like see the color, but it's a very soft beige with a little bit of red in it. And yeah, this one will probably come out to play come Halloween this year. I have a few Halloween. I'm not overly much into Halloween, but I do like the aesthetic of the spooky and fall in general. Next up is Coffee Club. It was also in a magazine. World of Cross Stitching. Just got a bit of love last year. It is stitch 2/1 full cross on this, I believe, 16 count glittery Ada. Changed the colors up a little bit, as you can see. Just picked my own, and also stitched with no name floss, because there's just 4 colors, I believe, 4 or 5 colors. So then it's easy to pick from my stash of unbranded no name flosses. You can just pick and mix and match. Next up is the Flower Dragoness, also by SA Patterns on Etsy. They have a ton of these cute little dragons, and I'm probably gonna get more of them in the future when I finish the ones that I have, because I just love them. They are gorgeous. And this is where I am with her. This way around. There's a little eye up here, and just the general shape of her going around here. This is Flower Dragoness, stitched 2/1 full cross on, I believe, just regular light green 14 count Ada. And their patterns have blends, which makes them even more gorgeous. So next up we have these little patterns. It's 3 in total. They live in this project bag that I made, just a simple blue color in, and with, you know, a little bling bling here and there. And the bag, I think, was a cushion that I bought at a flea market. So I liked the fabric and I was like, oh yeah, let's sew something with that. Let's see. I started one of these. I believe this one right here. And this is where I'm at. Very sad start, as you can see. Stitch 2/1 full cross on these glittery Ada. Is it called Opalescent, I believe? They are by Emma Congdon, and they are also from a magazine, Cross Stitcher something called, and they are called Coastal Comfort. Started in August 2023. Summer stitching. This one is also an oldie that I really need to finish. It is one of the White Raven D&D patterns. This one's the Rogue. I'm stitching this whole thing here, but not in the Called for Colors. Using multicolored floss for it. Whoa. And then I'm not stitching the class. I am stitching the name of the character that I played in a D&D campaign. So I have not worked on this at all last year, I believe. This is where I'm at. This is 2 different multicolored flosses. This is a purple, same that you've seen before, I believe. And this is a silver white one. I'm currently in no mood to work on this. but I'm also not planning on discontinuing it. We'll see when it gets back out. And I finished one of her D&D patterns. It's up on my wall. I don't know if I ever showed it in a Flosstube, but this is the whip parade, so might do a finish parade at one point. We will see. Next one is Sprinkled with Love. This is really cute. I like it. Also from a magazine. In 2023 I did a ton of magazine pattern. I started a ton of magazine patterns. Most from Mania, I believe, but this is where I'm at with this one. Not very far. Was quite enjoyable to stitch on though, so might pick this back out come spring. We will see. And I always say this about every whip. I might pick it back up, and I might. I'll see where the mood takes me. This one is a bit of a doozy. It's a calendar cell. I have started the first one of it. This is December, I believe, or is it January? So it must be January because it's the first one. I do not have a printed out of how this finished one will look like. I do not know if I want to continue this or if I'm just gonna scrap it, because I am not really enjoying stitching this. So it will go on the maybe UFO pile. I had a lot of issues with this one. The pattern is very barely readable. The coverage is a bit bulky. I don't overly enjoy it. This one, however, this one I enjoy. This is Nobody's Home, I believe by Stitch Sprout. I got it from a magazine. But I think it's also available on our website. I started it in July 2023, and it's on this neon green Ada that I think fits perfectly for this one. This is how far I am. And this is wonderful. This is lovely. I love everything about it. It's fun to stitch. It's super cute. I love the coverage on this. And yeah, I think it's 16 count. Might even be 14, and just that this no-name floss that I'm using for it is really fluffy, which makes the coverage amazing. So this is definitely gonna be continued this year. It's if I don't forget about it again when I put it back into my million other whips that I want to work on. Next one, another White Raven pattern design. One of my oldest whips. I think I started this in probably early 2023, if not 2022. And I'm quite, yeah, sometime in 2022. I'm even quite far with this. So this is really, I have no excuse for this not being finished. As you can see. This is way over 50%, if I'm not fully miscalculating. Hopefully soon. So I can frame it and put it on my wall. But again, still beautiful, still enjoy it a lot, will not complain overly much. This one is a Tiny Modernist freebie from, I believe, their website. That I started in 2023. This is the flosses, and this is where I am at with it. Again, pretty far. I just want to continue it so I can frame it and put it on the wall where it belongs, in the kitchen. This is the flosses. Turn back in. Do not know. These might also be like no-name flosses. I don't think I put. Yeah, there's no numbers on it, so these are just cheap from, I believe, Action maybe. Next, one of my favorite summer stitches, despite it not having much done. S is for strawberries, and I love strawberries. It's also from a cross-stitcher magazine, designed by Faye Walsh. And this is where I'm at. Just the top row. And I even did the French knots. I do not like French knots, let me tell you. I think I am not good. Maybe I will learn, but for now I do not enjoy French knots. And I think the feeling's mutual. Next up is this pretty thing that I believe is also a magazine. Yeah, from Cross Stitch Gold magazine. And I chose to do this because this looks like one of my cats. And I have two patterns from the magazines with one I haven't started that looks like my other cat. And yeah, I am not far with it. That's the back. But you could already see. This is how far I am. Just a few tiny little stitches in the bottom. This is stitched 1/1 full cross. And yeah, very sad, very tiny start. This is also lives in a project bag I made with some cheap fabrics. This is the first one I'm ever made. So this is basically my test piece. Like, I was like, let's see if I can even do this. But I don't think it looks too bad. Just the fabric is super cheap, as you can see. It's not good quality fabric. But again, that is why I used it to first try making a project bag. On we go. This one I believe I do not, no, this one I do not have a cover picture for. This is gonna be a snake sitting on a tree branch, looking for words. I am, as of now, parent of two snakes, two noodles, a small one and a big one. And I believe this is the way it goes. So I've always loved snakes, and now we do have two living in our flat with us, in a terrarium, of course. You cannot really see what this is gonna be because I've just moved all the way across. This is the bottom because, you know, the fabric ends here. So this is just a regular 14 count Ada. I do not know what this color is called. It's a dark, slightly grayish green. But yeah, this is where this is at. Definitely needs more love. It's gonna be a big one once it's done. It's also one of my oldest. I think I also started this one in 2022 when I found it somewhere on Etsy. It is no longer available, which is why I cannot find it even in my purchase history. So I couldn't tell you what it is called and where it is from. Next is this one. It is, I believe, from the Cross Stitch for the Earth book that I bought also, I think, in 2022 after I bought one of the patterns from the book accidentally on AliExpress before I knew any better. I started this in May 2023, so yeah, apparently it was 2023. So this was a mania start, and I only have the tiniest little starts on it. This is where it's at. It's nice. It was nice to work on. It is not necessarily my colors, but I do still enjoy it. I do not particularly enjoy how I did the backstitch though, but well, we'll see when I pick this one back up. Everybody needs a bit of color from time to time. That is different. But I wouldn't know where to put it in my flat, because again, these are not like the colors I would choose. So I might even do a color conversion in purples and greens and restart it. I think I would enjoy that a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on the maybe discontinue and or restart pile. That's and I think I'm gonna do the same with this one. This one I like. This is also from a magazine, and it's also, I believe, by the same designer even. And yeah, it's also by Emma Congdon. I saw this also in Mania 2023. And I have a small-ish start on this. We're already miscounted once, somewhere here in the, over here in the smoke coming from the roof, which isn't overly bad. It can be fudged, but I am thinking about restarting this with a multicolored floss, because now that I own a few of those, although I also like it in this color, and I have chosen 2 different colors, although I do not know where I'm gonna change the color, if I'm just gonna do the writing in a different color. But I mean, yeah, generally I like this one, so we will see. I will leave it in the whip pile for now, and if I don't pull it out again, then I will think about it. Next is this one. I think it's just called Cat Pillow. It's upside down. This is what it looks like. Cat Cushion. Okay. Again, no idea. They write down who designed it. I did not. Stitch 2/1 full cross on the small count, so this is getting bulky, and I do not know if I enjoy it. For now it is fine, as you can see, but I have not worked on this in a bit, so I might have to think about. I absolutely love the coverage of this. I think that it's so dense. I prefer dense coverage to, like, if you can see right through it, but the stitches don't look overly neat, although if you look at it from further away you cannot see it. This one will probably be continued, and if it does not work out because it gets too bulky, then I will reconsider. But for now, it lives where it lives, and I might put this in markup. And it's not completely full coverage, but if there's like backstitch on top of it, it might get a problem. But I do not like the coverage as it is in the picture, where you can see so much white through it, even on the photo. That's just not my jam. Next up is Stonehenge. And I believe I started this in June or July, on the date of the summer solstice. June 2023. It is by Amanda Butler. It's from the Cross Stitcher magazine, June 2022. And this is where I'm at. I started a lot of full coverages, or close to full coverages, in full 2/1 full cross on this fabric count in 2023. Although I do believe that, as you see how it's bulky now, but when it gets stretched eventually it will be fine. Still a bit worried, but for now this one's fine and will be continued eventually. But I didn't even anticipate that I have this many. This is gonna be hours long. I don't even know how many hours I am yet by now, and I still have a pile next to me. This might even belong in the full coverage section. I think this is a full coverage, although a small one. It's just called Ocean, I believe. Designed by Carol Thornton. And this is where I'm at. Again, not the best fabric to do full coverage with 2/1 full cross. This is very cute. Pastel-y colors. Let's see. Also probably gonna come back out to play in summer. And all of these are not even on my list yet in the in my app. So I have 99 patterns in my app, in my Google Doc, and most of the ones that I just showed you are not in there. So suffice to say, I have over 100 patterns, which I knew. Not over 100 patterns, over 100 whips, most of which are minuscule starts and might never be touched again. But for now, I have no intention of discontinuing them. Next is this super cute strawberry bucket. I think that was a strawberry basket. Sorry, was one of my mania starts when I did mania in 2023, and I have the tiniest of starts on this. And I believe this is also part of the fabric that I dyed. Tea, coffee dyed, and then baked. And it's very, very wrinkly. And probably not a good fabric to stitch 2/1 full cross. So this might be a restart done 1/1 full cross. So I'm gonna put this one aside. I think it's still few enough stitches to pull them out and redo them. So this will go to the discontinue probably pile. Another magazine patterns. These are 2 tiny ones that I thought were very cute, so I started them for Mania. No, I did not start them for Mania. I started them in November 2023. It's right on there. I started one of them. And this one I was smarter apparently by... No, I was not. This is also done 2/1. And this pattern is a mix between tent stitch and full cross. So this fabric count works for tent stitch, but I'm not happy with the look of full crosses on it. So this may be discontinued. I will put this on the maybe pile. See, and this is why whip parades are so great. You see patterns that you haven't touched in ages, and you're like, I don't even know if I want to work on those anymore. Same with this one. I do not have it printed out. I only have the chart. It's going to be like a flower. You can see it through here. Narcissus, I believe. And I think I already miscounted this one once. So, and I don't particularly enjoy it. I think this was one of the starts that I started just to start something. This will be discontinued. On to the next. This is living in this booklet. I do not know why, but it is. It's this one here. It's like a little herbal pattern that I started out of the book. This is 1/1. I believe this is 28 count. So this is going to be very tiny and dainty, and I think I forgot about it because it was living in this booklet. And this one has like a lot of these in there. I got it from a D-stash from someone, and it has a ton of patterns that I want to stitch. I absolutely love this book. So yeah, I will probably find it back for this one. But for now, it just goes on the side. Okay, I need to grab the next batch, and I will be back. All right, grab the next pile. So here we go. We are coming closer, at least, to the end. upside down, and I'm getting exhausted and my voice is dying. This is from Poetrulia. It was a kit that I was given by them to test, and this is so cute. I chose this one because I love the look of it. It came with everything, with the fabric, with the flosses, and I even worked on it this morning a little bit before I started filming. So the only thing I don't overly enjoy is the coverage, because this is like a 14 count, and I believe the flosses are probably DMC. So if you get too close, you can see the white of the fabric through it. But other than that, this is where I am. Most of the first bird done, a little bit of the other bird. The tree branch and some of the green here. I put at least one strand of each color in. And yeah, this is where I'm at. I do enjoy working on this one. And I will work on this one some more. Next up is another pattern by me that I have started twice, and I'm probably also gonna stitch twice. I do not have the cover printed out. This one's not available yet. It is gonna be a Patreon pattern, most likely for March. This is what it looks like so far. It's stitched in a multicolored green floss 1/1 full cross on this very soft 28 count even weave Ida. I'm not sure what kind of fabric it is. And I also started a second one. This one I started first actually, before I did the green one. This is in black, also 1/1 full cross on this very tiny, it's probably a 30 count at least, if not smaller, because this is a lot smaller than this one, and this is 28, I think. Might also be, no, I think it's more like 26. Never mind, I don't know. So what am I even saying? On this hand-dyed by me linen, and I'm definitely not going to use all of this. So yeah, if you like this pattern, keep an eye out. It's gonna go to up on my Patreon, and link in the description, next month. So this needs to go in an extra space because these need to stay here. Next up is, it's also already an oldie, and I have two of them in here. This one I haven't started yet, so but it will also live in here once I do. Coffee by Tango Stitch. And I believe Tango Stitch's patterns I got from Creative Fabrica. So I changed the colors because, again, our kitchen is a lot teals and whites and grays and light blues. So that is the color that I started this in. And this is where I am currently at. Also very tiny, very dainty, 1/1 full cross on 28 count. With, I believe, mainly no-name flosses, but I'm not sure. I might also have chosen my CXC for that. Next is another White Raven pattern. This Dragon Dice number 1. The green one was number 2. I also stitched this one on black Ida like the other one, and leaving out these black lines in the dice as blank space. But I'm not very far with this. This is all I've got so far. I believe it's this way around. Just a bit of the tree line and the sky and the dragon's wings here. I think this was only 1 or 2 days of work on a Mania start. Yep, May 2023. Need to get back to that. Next, and I sound like a broken record, right? Need to get back to that. But I do, it's the truth. This one is light number 1. I also got this from Creative Fabrica. I believe the designer is Light Unicorn Designs. They have a lot of pattern on there. And also on Etsy, I think. But since I have a Creative Fabrica subscription, I usually get them from there. So this is where I am at. I already worked a little bit on it this year. Stitched 2/1 full cross on this printed, I believe, yeah, printed Ida. Started in the middle, worked my way up, and now going from top down, as one does. So this is a light number 1. Next up is another pattern by me, no printout of what the finished version will look like. This is a restart. I originally started this on an oatmeal, and I was not happy with it because the lightest green, there will be 2 lighter shades of green going down. The lightest green just disappeared into the color of the fabric. I'm not sure if it works with white, so we will see. But there's not much done of this one. This is a module of one of my own patterns that I plan to release in the future once I am done. So for now, this is what this looks like. Next up, another one that I have not printed a cover out for, but this is tiny. This is another personal pattern. I found a sprite that I converted slightly. I think I might just pop up a picture of what it will look like finished up here. That I converted slightly to look like my current Dungeons and Dragons character. And then I started stitching it. Just need to finish the outlines and then fill in some color. Stitch 2/1 full cross on this green Ida that I got from Etsy. From eBay, not Etsy. Now that's what he looks like. Next, I believe I do not have a cover for this either. Though it is from 2022, I'm fairly sure, and I have not really worked on this in ages. This is another Cross Stitch for the Earth book pattern by Emma Congdon, and this is Between Two Pines. And this is where it's at. I don't think I touched this last year. This works with a lot of negative space on this beautiful green Ada. One of my oldest whips. Again, I'm hoarding whips. I am the type of dragon that hoards whips, apparently. This is the pattern that I briefly touched upon earlier that I accidentally bought from AliExpress. I'm gonna hide the company. They are pretty known for stealing patterns. I have a few of these AliExpress patterns that are taken from other designers that I bought before I knew any better. And sometimes I get some from friends that gift me cross-stitch things and they don't know. So if I get them, I stitch them. But I did get this first, and once I figured out where it's originally from, I bought the book that it's in. So I'm still working on this one with the kit materials that I had bought, but I do also now own the legitimate pattern of it. And this is where I am at. It doesn't even fit fully into... Oh, it does. There's the bottom. There's the top. This is where I am at with it. And yeah, I might even put my camera up a little higher, and that would work better. You can see a bit more of my messy desk. Yeah, I think this is better. So this is where I'm at, going all the way across. And the only thing that I changed is that I'm stitching the negative space as well. And I'm stitching it white because I'm not overly fond of what empty space looks on this large account. Was it small account? I always mix those up. Is 14 small account or large account? I think small account because the number is smaller, right? Anyway, I do not like empty space in pictures like this on this count, so I started also stitching the white, as you can see here. And I think it looks a lot better than just leaving it blank. But this is where this one's at. And I'm stitching from the paper pattern it came with. So that is this one. Next up is another one that I cannot show you a picture for. This is, so you can't probably not see much what this is gonna be. This is gonna be a strawberry cat. That's why it's red. These are not its eyes. It's little tiny eyebrows. This is stitched 2 over 1 full cross on the screen Ada. And I found this one on a pixel pattern site that is for like these friendship bracelets that you usually bead. But since it's pixel out, you can also cross stitch it. You just need to choose your own colors for it. So I'm trying to do that. Let's see how it ends up. Next we have, this one's a new one. I just started it this month or last month. I'm not even sure, I can check. I'm pretty sure that I have this one on my list. I started this in January 29th. This is, you're probably familiar with it, the Deadly Aquarium. The Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And I'm stitching this for my friend. So he can put it up in his room above his aquarium once it is done. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count hardanger, 2 over 2 full cross. And this is where I'm at with it. Part of the aquarium outline here. The first of the fish. This is the manta ray. I love how this one turned out. And there's a shark coming in down here. So I am at 3% with this one, I believe. And all of my floss are in here. I'm just using the DMC conversion, the DMC conversion version. Although I'm stitching it in CXC as I am wont to do. Next is another magazine pattern. This is a paper pattern. Wonk. This is, let's see, do I have any? No, I don't have a start date or anything. This is Flower Garden. At least that's what I call it. It's the German name is Blumenpavillon. And I started this sometime last year. It is not a full coverage, although it is large. I don't know how many pages this one has. A few. Let's see. 1, 2, I think 4, 3, 4, 6. 6 pages. And a lot of colors, as you can see down here. I believe I was stitching this 1 over 1. So I think I actually do like the coverage of 1 over 1 on this fabric more than I do the bulkiness of the 2 over 1. Let's see. It shows a little bit of the fabric, of course, because it's not as dense. I need to open all of these. And it is large. This is where I'm at. I have a bit of the ground parts of the pavilion and a bit of the florals. I am moving up here into the flowers so I can work my way down instead of from the middle, out from the middle. But yeah, looking at this now and at the coverage that it has with the 1 over 1, you can see here in the ground, I think I actually might like this a lot more than the 2 over 1. And I might restart a few things that I stitched 2 over 1 on this count previously. This is a slightly yellow fabric. And I'm noticing that my light is getting worse because I have been filming for over 2 hours now. That this is going to be a long one, and it's already 4:30 in the afternoon, so let's try to get this done. It will be a bit shorter after I've edited it because I'm going to try to edit a little bit of stuff out that's not necessary. This pattern is also one that I got on AliExpress way back when. It's called I Love Gardening. I do not know if this is actually legit or if this was taken from somewhere. It is by a different company, and you know, not all Asian companies steal patterns. Some of them actually make them. This is where I am at. This will eventually be a present for my mother once I get to finish it. I've been working on it since 2002. This is 2/1 full cross on, I believe, what looks like a 16 count to me, but I am not sure because it's not in the... This came as a kit. There's everything is in here, paper chart, the flosses. No, it's 14 count cremator. So, and it came in this bag here. It's in this cute little project bag. So, and the name of the company is Ami Shop. So I do not know how legit they are. It's not like the other one that's known for stealing patterns. Next, and this is my oldest. This is from 2022, and all I need to do is finish filling in the background, because I decided I do not like the see-through linen and I want the whole background stitched in white. So this is what I have left to do. I used to take this with me as a travel piece when I was on the train, but now I do not use public transport anymore. Thankfully, I have a car. But if I go on holiday ever, I will probably take this one. And so stitch it while I'm on the road, so I don't have to take big things with me. Another fairly new one is this that I started also last winter. This is another D&D class pattern, although it's from another designer, and I do not have it in here who it is from. I will have to check. I had the same issue as the other one with these colors. I had to switch up one of the greens because when I stitched it, they looked exactly the same, despite of what I look in here. It might be partially the fault of there not being like a stitched model, and for me as a designer, I have to switch colors a lot from what I have in my charting program to the final model because they look a lot different sometimes for some reason. And it might also be partially because of the CXC being slightly different from DMC. Most of the time they aren't, but sometimes they are. So I changed the writing from the class to the name of my character. So this is where I'm at with this one. And I will most likely not stitch the background. No, I will definitely not stitch the background. Like all of this and this here, like all of the colored background, I'm not gonna stitch. I'm just stitching the motif. So this is definitely not gonna take as long as this looks. That's why I chose this fabric for it. See where I changed the greens to a darker green, and this is where it's at. Also fairly new, but started before I started using an Excel, not Excel, a Google Docs sheet to track my progress and starts and whatever. Next one is Long Dog Samplers. This is my only long dog. Gone to pieces. It's a fairly small long dog, and I chose this one because I wanted to try one and not get overwhelmed by their beautiful, beautiful patterns. I'm stitching this with a lot of what you call fancy flosses, like Week Style Works and Classic Color Works, multicolored flosses. And these are the only ones of their kind that I own. I bought them, I think this was one of my birthday starts from 2023, and I bought them at a needlework store that I visited with my friend, and I splurged a little bit. So this is where it's at. And this is also a restart. I started it before with just DMC colors, like with CXC, and on a much larger fabric. So this is my restart. And I love this. This is 1/1 full cross with black and with the fancy flosses that I chose for it. And it's a bit all over the place, but as you can see here on the top, I've been doing a bit. It's got a bit of work in it, and it is at 9%, so not too bad, I would say. And this is a very soft fabric. Do not know what type of fabric it is, but I love it. I love this fabric. Next, we have a few more, but we are nearing the end. I promise, we're almost done. This is a small thing I started last autumn. This is a bookmark, as you can probably see. I made this one. So the pattern is not yet available. This is a work in progress model. I will finish it, and once I do, then I will make it available either as a Patreon pattern in sometime in autumn this year, or I will just put it in the shop. We will see. Next is another magazine pattern that I have not done much on. It is this gorgeous fall window. I think it was a garden special of one of the American Cross-Stitch magazines, though I do not have it in here which one. This, which is also a pattern. And I think I got this one, it looks like I got this one into markup actually. Let's see. It is this from December 2023. Cross-stitch. Let's see. Ultimate Cross-Stitch Gardens, volume 14 from 2017. And the designer is Susan Bates. I think there's more of them for each season, and I will have to look into that because I really like this one. I might want to eventually do all 4 seasons. Although I do not have much done on it. I think it goes this way. Yep, started here in the middle, and then I worked my way up towards the top corner. And this is a 14 count wide Ada. So this is gonna be a big one. This is the middle, and the top corner will probably be here. So this is a quarter. So think about this 4 times. And this is stitch 2/2 full cross. So next up, we have, oh yeah, this is my Owl Forest embroidery Treasure Island cell from, I believe, 2023. This is what it looks like finished, and I am not nearly keeping up. I totally fell off with this. I managed to keep up for the first 1.5 parts, and then I just fell off. I started this in 2023. It is a freebie on their website. You can still download it completely for free if you want to stitch it. And this is where I'm at. And this is one of these cases where I'm like, it looks fine stitched 2/1 full cross, but it was probably not the best choice. But this one, I'm definitely not restarting or discontinuing. This one I'm gonna continue as it is. And I did not leave myself much margin, as you can see. This is very, very close to the corners of the fabric. But I love this. And I believe the little in up here is finished. And otherwise I'm just moving across here and there. And I'm using CXC for this. I'm not using their floss conversions. Their fancy flosses. Next, this is one of my most special pieces, although I have not worked on it much last year, and it's currently a bit of on pause. This is my Celtic Autumn, and this one I did a color conversion for. Let me see. Well, my light's being weird. Is it? I have done a full color conversion for this, and this is the one project that I'm stitching on hand-dyed linen that I bought from Etsy from Leonora Craft. I do not know if this has a name for the colors or anything. It's done with CXC and with, you know, it has like these. These are cheap-ish glitter thread. I'm not using like any of the expensive fancy things that I cannot afford, but it works for me. Let me find where I am. So this is where I am with her. As you can see, she does have a color conversion. Her hair is red. She is supposed to be a character of mine. There are already a few of these pretty glittering colors in there. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. This is where she's at. Not overly far, but like her face and her hair is done. The only thing that's missing is a bit of sparkle in her headdress. And all of this is stitched 1/2. And I am not beading because I figured that the fabric that I chose is too, the count does not work for beads. Like my stitches are too small. So beads are too large, but I don't mind because instead of doing beading, I am using the sparkly floss where the beads are supposed to go. And I think that is a beautiful alternative. And I don't know if it's like the type of sparkly flosses that I use. I don't mind stitching with them. And I've heard that a lot of people call like Kreinig and Treasure Braid and whatever like devil's floss, but I don't know. I personally don't mind. Of course, they're a little harder to work with than regular cotton or silk, but I don't know. I need to get back to her. I love her. She deserves attention. Let me get a... So, a few more, and then we're finally done. Next up is this one. That I always forget what they call it. A magic something something. I know what it is. It's a German castle called Neuschwanstein. I call it Fairy Tale Castle, as we do here in Germany, but the pattern is called Magic Touch. And it started in Mania 2023. It is from the Cross Stitch Gold Scenery collection. And this is hanging threads. This is where I'm at. Moved my way down to the bottom. And again, stitch 2/1 full cross on a count that probably would have been more suitable for 1/1 full cross, but we live and learn. This is what it is. For now, it is working fine. No intention of restarting it. It's gonna be continued as is. One more in this pile, and then I only have a few more. Oops, random things and kits and whatnot. Some stamps, and then we will be done. This one is another White Raven. This is currently a bit on hold because it was done for a character that I stopped playing, and what started for a character that I stopped playing. So I might finish it and just leave out the name until I get back to it. And this is where it's at. I did not get any work done last year, I believe. Let's see if I can grab it properly. This is what happens when you don't iron, but I do not iron until things are done. This is also, I think, what do you call it, opalescent? This has sparklies in it, this fabric. But yeah, this is the Druid. I love these flosses. I got them from Amazon. So they are wonderful. As you can see here, they are a Czech brand of flosses. And they are beautiful. So this is everything I had in this bulk, and now we just have some random tinies that some of which are my own, like this one. I charted this ages ago, and I am not sure if I'm gonna just finish the model or not, and then just put it on my wall. This is on 14 count. This is ancient. I started this when I started cross-stitching again, and when I charted my first patterns. So this is from some time in early 2022, I believe, before I had a proper program to chart patterns with. Let me pause and open all the zippers, and then we will do our final round. All right, final round. So this is another one of those Chinese things. I believe the original, I saw that on the Owl Forest website. So if you're interested in this pattern, please get it from there. Do not buy it from AliExpress or Temu. This is where I am at with this one. Not very far. Stitch 2/1 full cross on this blue 14 count Ada. I have another one of these that I have not started yet, so it is not in here with them. I live in chaos. I am chaos. Next up, this is actually a legitimate thing, which I am very happy about. I got this from my best friend for my birthday. Last year or the year before last, I'm not sure. There's this magic needle, fragrance of clematis, and I love magic needle kits. This is the only one I have, but I'm fairly sure that's not gonna stay that way forever. Stitching this with everything that came in the kit. The fabric, the floss. This is 16 count Ada, which is something I really enjoy working on. Stitch 2/1, full cross or tent, depending on what it calls for. And this is where I am at. Pretty far. Probably, if I would guess, about 25–30% done. Seeing as I cannot count this on a paper chart and it is not full coverage, I do not know how many stitches I have in there and how many I still need to do. This one is a printed pattern. Again, I do not know if it's legitimate or not. It does not even have a cover picture, I believe. No, it does not. It is like a little landscape house sort of situation. My sister-in-law got me this for Christmas last year. As you can see, printed. I'm gonna show you the back because that will show you what I did. All the way down there in the bottom corner and a little bit up here. And this is what it will. That's upside down. Let me turn it around. This is what it will eventually be like. So large I can't even fit it in frame. House. There's a house up here. It's not a full coverage. It is... I'm not even sure if this is 14 or 11 count. I hope it is 14 because I do not really like 11 count, but this is so like stiff and large that I'm not sure. The coverage looks more like 14 count though. I'll need to get back to working on this. Sometimes I just feel like working on a stamped kit because it's mindless and you don't have to count and all that. So yeah, this is what the color theme looks like. Oh yeah, there's the picture. This is what it will look like when it's finished. Again, no idea where it's from, if it's legitimate or not. I got this, I was gifted this, so I'm gonna stitch it. Next up, this is one that I have not worked for in ages after I started it, but then came to really love it. This is, I think, by 2x2 Stitch on Etsy. They have a lot of these beautiful patterns. I'm doing it the other way around. This is meant to be like stitched white on blue, I believe. I am stitching, oh no, I believe it's meant to be like negative space, so stitched blue and left white. And I'm doing it the other way around. I'm stitching whatever is white on this. So I don't know, maybe that's what I did. Maybe they stitched it white on blue, but alas, this is, I stitch it green on white, or it's not even white, it's a very light green linen. And oh, it's a loose needle. Let's put this in here. No one notices that I do not have any needle minders. This is where it's at, and it's gorgeous. It's stitched 1/1 with these dainty, teeny tiny stitches. Probably it's a 20. I think it's either 28 or 30. If 30 is even a thing, but that is what it is, and I love it. I love it. I need to be in the mood for it, but I definitely love it. And this is the, and I do not know if I have enough floss, but this is actually DMC. This is DMC 440-45. So if I run out, I can get more, and since it's multicolored, I don't have to worry about dye lots with this one. At least I hope. This is another China kit that I got ages and ages and ages ago. No idea who the original designer is of this, so I'm gonna hide the company. This is what it's gonna look like. Oh, it's a beautiful floral on black. It's also one of my really, really old whips, probably from early 2022. And this is where I'm at with this one. Put it in frame. I don't know if this is the right way up or if it needs to be. I think it might need to be this way. Yeah, I think it's this way. Or is it? I don't know. But yeah, this is where I'm at. Not any focus of any sorts for me currently. I will continue working on it when I feel like it. Next up, this is my oldest China kit. Again, no idea if it's stolen from somewhere. It might not be, because this is just like pretty generic landscape pattern called Pine Forest. And I had swapped out the Ada it came with for linen, which may or may not have been a good idea. And I have not worked on this in ages. Stitched 2/2 full cross. And this is where I'm at with it. Stitched the top corner, moved all the way across, moved down, worked on the bottom corner like some crazy person, but it looks great. I really like it. Also, I did not, as you can see, foolish me, did not leave myself any margins. This is literally where the fabric ends. It is just the side. I mean, I did on the other side, but again, this is one of my very, very early whips, all the way from 2002, I believe. Using the floss that came in the kit. Again, haven't worked on it in a long time. This, I believe, is stamped. It's another from the same company. This is trees along the river. No landscape pattern. And also from 2022. I do not particularly favor buying stamped patterns anymore. I have finished one, a small one. This is what this one is. Because these are so large, I wouldn't even have an idea how to frame them. And if you want to see what I worked on, I got to show you the back. Like this bottom corner. And some stitches here and there. All the way, all across. So that's that one. Next, oh yeah, I think this is the last stamped one. I do not know where this is originally from. This was a set of 4, of which I have 2. Summer I have finished 2 years ago, I think even. This is spring. And oh god, I'm getting tired, so shaking is getting worse. Shaking the camera is getting worse. And this is where I'm at with it. Doesn't look like anything, does it? When I turn it around, see that there's at least quite a bit of work done. I need to get to this and just finish it so I can put it with its companion piece on my wall. Oh yeah, this is another one of my own patterns. Do not think if I have a printed out cover of this. No, I don't. But you can get this in my shop. It's Potions and Poisons. Not very far. Stitching this 1/1. Well, at least it's far enough that you can see what it's gonna look like. 1/1 full cross on this 28 count fabric that I spice dyed, I believe. That's where this freaky yellow comes from. Started in 2023. Again, the pattern is available in my Etsy. Feel free to grab it if you choose. This one is also one of my very early charts that I made. I don't even know if I ever made this available. And I sure as hell am not far with stitching it. There it is. I might do it. We will see. We will see. Not a priority for sure. And same with this one. Honey flower pattern. Also from my own shop. One of my earliest patterns. Started this on linen. 1/1 full cross. Not done yet. Might get done eventually, and I might put it like on either on a tiny frame or on a card or something like that. Same with this one. Now most of them, if not all of them, are probably models. My little coffee girl. Also from my shop. Also not finished yet with the model. 2/1 full cross. Also on a fabric that's most likely more suited for 1/1. But also from 2023. I know better now. Next, I have a handful left. Oh my god, I said that an hour ago, didn't I? Now, here's... No, I thought, oh, there was multiple things living in here, but it's just fabric. Why is there so much fabric in here that I could use for something else? This is not supposed to be in here. Why are you here? So, this one is definitely also from my shop. I do not think I have... Do I have the cover printed? I have a lot printed, but not the cover, apparently. Womp womp. But you will probably get a good idea of what this will be, as it is a mandala. This is butterfly mandala. I think you call these mandalas because they technically are. It's just like mirrored in all 4 corners. Model I never finished, but this is available in my shop if you want it. And I need to get to finishing it because I do like it. It's beautiful. Same with this one. This is Beehive sampler that I smart as the printed on sticker paper that I still had on my printer. What a waste. Beehive sampler. This is a pattern that I made that is available in my shop. As you probably have guessed by now, this is my whip on it, not very far, stitched with multicolored yellow floss and 310. I'm using two different shades, I guess you can see in here, a yellow and a orange, although I do not have the orange on my whippeth yet. Next up is Lena Moth. Not necessarily a model, because I do not model stitch my larger pieces or my full coverages. If I want to stitch them, I do, as what I did with this one, but I do not expect there ever to be a finished model in the next 10 years. Again, available in my shop if you like it. This is where I am with it, just starting in the wing, stitched 1 over 1 full cross on this easy count fabric, and I do hope that this washes out, because this is not a full coverage, and if it does not wash out I will cry. So, but then it will be my own fault for not testing it. Let me get a drink very quick. So, next up, another ancient pattern from 2022 that I made, that I might even remake or rechart. I do not have a cover picture. This is a geometric sort of thing that I actually do like quite a bit. I do not know if I even have this available in my shop. I stitched this 2 over 2 on linen, and looking at it, currently I really feel like continuing it and making it available. This is like a mini patchwork. I called it mini patchwork because it is sort of a geometric patchwork. Is the companion piece to the bee sampler. This is Queen Bee, also available in my shop. And this is where I am with her. Also something I need to continue. Stitch 2 over 1 full cross. It's getting precarious again. Another one of my very ancient, I don't even think I made this available. This is Galaxy Paw. I even started this twice. See, so way back when, from 2002. I don't know if I'm gonna finish these ones. There's one on this blue. Again, I think this fabric is Linda. It's the same as the green one that I showed earlier. And one on just plain Ada. I might, if I don't have this in my shop, I might just put it there. It's in one of my old patterns. It doesn't have any pattern keeper version to it, but well, some people don't mind, so I might as well. The thing is, I did not chart this on my current program, but somewhere online. I cannot rechart it without completely redoing it. Next is, this is from last year, Lucky in Threes. This is also one of my own patterns available in my shop. And it's also one that I started twice. Oh yeah, the floss is attacking me. First I started it with Fancy Floss. That's this one. And then I figured I do not overly like this one here, like how it's changing from brown to green. I do like the floss in general. Let's say it's this one. Which one is it? Wildflower by Karen. Karen, is this? Oh, it's not on the thing. But I figured that this would not be enough for this pattern anyway, and I only have one of these. And oh yeah, it's Karen Wildflowers. It's not the water lilies, because the water lilies are the silk, right? And this is the wildflowers. It's the cotton floss. I like this one, but again, they are not. It will not be enough for this pattern, so I restarted it. This is how far I am with my restart. This is the way it goes. And these flosses I have dyed myself. They are regular white CXC flosses that I dyed with alcohol ink, and I dyed a lot of them just to make sure that I have enough. I think I dyed 3 skeins in total of each color. They are very stiff from the dyeing, but I think they look fairly well. I'm not thinking about becoming a floss and fabric dyer. I'm just doing that for my own personal enjoyment for now. And this was an experiment. It's not something that I would probably do again, because again, the flosses are getting really stiff. I'm having the color put on them. They look nice when they are stitched up, but they do not necessarily feel nice while working with them. My thingies are getting precariously put on top, but I only have 2 left. This is a whip that I might restart, because I started it 2/1 full cross, and I do not like it. It's bulky, it's chunky, it doesn't look nice. So I might redo it 1/1 if I even do it at all. So this goes into the restart / UFO pile. The pattern is one I did. I have not made it available yet. I'm thinking about making it available. That's why I wanted to stitch it. But I might just put it in my shop without the model. This is a house I used to live in Berlin. So this is a little bit of a... it doesn't look exactly like this, but this is the best I could do with turning it into a cross-stitch shot. So maybe someone will be interested in stitching this other than me. Because I know a lot of people enjoy stitching houses quite a lot, and I think this is a beautiful house. So I might just do that. But for now, this particular start is either going to be a restart or a UFO, I believe is what they call it. Next and last. Oh, we got there. We finally did it. Is Alchemy Bottle. This is in my shop, and I did this way back when in 2002, one of my first patterns, and I still have not finished stitching it. I got quite far. This is where I'm at, so I really just need to, you know, get a grip on myself and finish it, because this is pretty. It's 2/2 on 14 count Ada. Nothing special, but it's a pretty pattern, and I want this done. So this is where we are, and this is where I would certainly hope we are done, and I did not forget any. So I think we're coming up on what, 3 hours? Let me go back to front-facing camera. So here we are again. I'm not overly familiar with filming on my phone, so I'm probably gonna look to the side, to the wrong side. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this massive whip parade. I think we're coming up on 3 hours or some such. It will most likely be a little less when I'm done editing it. I will try to edit out some of the unnecessary stuff, like the repacking and packing and whatever. So this is going to be a little bit shorter, but I do have a ton of whips. Sometimes I forget how many I do. So I think this whip parade is even larger than the last one I did. Some of the things are already from this year, as you've seen, because it is February and I did not go and sort what I worked on already this year to remove it. So this is basically a February, not end of the year whip parade. I might even make it like a birthday month whip parade in the future, because everybody is filming their end of the year whip parades. But we'll see. If I have time in December this year, I might even make it an end of the year one. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me through my mountain, through my horde of whips. I will now probably spend the next hours, well, not today. I am starting D&D in half an hour and I still need to eat dinner, so I'll probably edit all of this tomorrow after I get back home from getting car stuff done. So you might see this on Sunday or you might see this on Monday. That depends on how long it's gonna take me to edit this beast. But yeah, again, thanks for sticking with me. I hope I will manage to be around more again in the next month, since I got my stitchy bug back in full force. Most of my stitching will be model stitching, seeing as I have now started a Patreon and I do all of my own model stitching. So I have at least one pattern I need to finish each month if I want to offer it with a model done and not just with the charted pattern. But yeah, hopefully you will see more of me and I will see more of you again in the next month. But for now, I will sign off. I am excited. My voice is dying and I have appointments to keep. So have a lovely evening, everybody. And until I see you next, bye bye.